I'm your host, Orion Brain, and with me today is Dale Crafts, Republican candidate for Congress in Maine's 2nd District. How you doing today?
Doing wonderful. Beautiful Maine day.
Yes, it is. Let's dive right in. What's the worst road in the 2nd District?
Oh, man. I'll tell you what, some of them back roads going down east over towards Machias, I mean, I can't tell you the route numbers, but I drive a 3/4 ton pickup truck because I have that cool device in it that, lifts me in the truck. And I plow all my own properties. When I'm down in Washington this winter, I'll have to hire it done, but I have a lot of properties. I do it myself, but tell you what, you go up on some of them roads when you're driving a 3/4 ton truck. Oh man, it beated me, just beat you down through them roads. But there's a lot of roads that, we need to spend hundreds of millions of dollars in the state to really fix the roads right. And the problem is we keep skimming over them roads, and then the next winter, they're already broke up again. If we're going to fix a road, let's tear the thing up, dig down beyond, get rid of the clay underneath the road, build the road up by 2 feet, ditch it really well, and have that road last for the next 20 or 30 years without, but we're not doing that because we don't invest the money in our transportation, our infrastructure like we should. We've let it go for years and years and years, and now we're playing catch up. And then when you get something like this hits in the economy and the revenue stops coming in to fix the roads, we're in trouble. How are we going to fix them now? They're talking $1.5 billion shortfall in Maine in revenue, $1.5 billion. The federal government can't keep sending us checks and bailing us out because they can't afford it either. Oh, if I sat down with a map, I could probably make you a big, long list of roads that I've been on.
If you make it to Congress, would you support a big infrastructure bill to help address some of those issues?
We have to have good infrastructure if we want our economy to grow. And so again, as a businessman, you sit down and you figure out, like when you're running a business, right? You've got a facility and you think, okay, I got to modernize. I got to bring the best equipment. I got to compete. We have got to do that. So we got to make it some type of priority to rebuild our infrastructure. But again, do we go borrow the money again? That's where I get stuck. And I'm like, okay, but you weigh it out. Sometimes in business, you do borrow the money and you make an investment and you get a good payback. So if we can plan it out well, that we actually get a payback because we invested in our infrastructure, it helps small business and it helps the truckers and it helps people to be able to get around and do commerce, then we've got to make the investment. That's the bottom line, somehow.
You have an experience as somebody who has dealt with mobility issues. What
Yes.
can the federal government or the state or just the community do to address mobility concerns, especially in rural areas like the 2nd District?
Well, yeah, we definitely, I have to say, I've been in chair for 37 years. And 37 years ago when I started out, there wasn't a whole lot of great accessibility. The good part is, in our zoning and our building codes and all that, we've improved that tremendously. I think the biggest challenge that I've had is especially when you have a vehicle that the door opens up and you have a lift that comes out. You're very limited. You can't pull up beside a car, beside somebody else's vehicle and get out. Or if you get up, you pull up to a space and somebody pulls in beside you. And I'll tell you, you wouldn't believe the people that them striped lines, that's blocked off for people with lifts. People don't respect that. If they see a spot, they'll drive right over there. I've had multiple times I'd be in a parking lot where I'd go out to my van to get into it when I used to drive a van and I couldn't get in. Somebody parked right over the stripes. I did put some legislation. I put a study in. Even Governor Paul LePage, who hates studies, agreed with me to for the study. We brought the veterans in and the ADA and everything. We want to work on that. I was determined that I wanted to come up with a model of fixing the parking problems that we have, not only in the Maine, it's across the country. I've traveled everywhere. Okay, I've traveled everywhere. It's a problem across every state. And so I really wanted to fix it. I wanted to come up with a model in Maine that actually fixed it. And so it got all approved and we voted on it. Governor agreed with it. And when it went to appropriations, I'm quite conservative and I didn't vote with the budget. I kind of bucked my own party and said, no, you're spending too much money. And so what happened was, and it was only like $6,000 study to bring people in because you have to pay people to come in. It wasn't like I was spending a bunch of money and I really wanted to fix it. Well, they didn't appropriate the money. I think it was payback. Unfortunately, in politics, even in your own party, you can get payback. And I got payback. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This ain't about Dale Crafts. This is about people trying to have disabilities or trying to park. Why are you doing this? I mean, come on. Okay, pay me back, but don't pay back people that have disabilities. But so much for that. But yes, the question is, I mean, to answer to your question is, there's a huge problem. And again, a lot of these municipalities and different places up in northern Maine don't have the money to fix a lot of things. And so it's kind of rural, remote. You just make it work. When you're in a wheelchair, you just make it work. You figure out somehow to get out and park, and you be safe. I pull into a parking lot, and I'm like, okay, let's see here. Where am I going to park? How can I park on the end or park somewhere? And sometimes I'll take 2 spaces, like halfway, so nobody can fit a car in. And I don't like taking 2 spaces, but I'll do like a space and a half, and then they can't get in beside my door, and I have to do that sometimes because. Somebody could pull in. I could be stuck there for hours. I've actually had people at Walmart come out and say, hey, can you get in my van and back it out for me so I can get in? And I did that several times. It was wintertime. I'm out there and I'm cold. And I'm like, man, this is ridiculous. Hey, give me some help, would you? And people are always gracious to people in a wheelchair. They always want to help. So that's the good part. People will always help somebody that's got a disability.
I'm your host, Orion Breen, and with me today was Dale Crafts, who's running for the 2nd Congressional District in Maine. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye-bye now.